Last paper went so well, I decided to make some more, and this is my new batch. And yeah, I'm just gonna talk with you guys while I make some. And I made up some more of this liquid. I think as you do this stuff, it gets easier as it goes. So this is a simple craft. I'm outside doing it. Sun's still out. While it's still out, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Once it gets dark, I'm gonna shut down shop. But yeah, I just want you guys to see how easy this is. I've already made the liquid and everything, so it's not really a difficult task. So people are, you know, out here doing this stuff on a daily basis. And see, I'm making these because I'm gonna make some homemade uh, pre-rolls or how you say it, you know, cigar wraps. And this is all tobacco. You know, and YouTube's been shadow banning my stuff when I talk about this because this is I think they think this is not good content, but this is just regular paper, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going through and I'm gonna make it, get it done. Just shoot just shit with you guys for a little bit. Decided to go live, man, because I've been making this stuff for about an hour now. And I was like, why not just share it with everybody? Because it's pretty neat the way this stuff comes out. It's not really a big deal on making it. I want to show you guys how I put it on the mat after I make it. Sometimes you might have to go over the stuff you do like a couple times, and that's not bad either because then it just strengthens the paper when it dries. It makes it even stronger. But this is just a real simple technique that I've done, and anybody can do this. So I got the paper on here, and I'm gonna add it to this one that looks like it's a little shallow on the edges. And this is how you do it. You take it, match it up, put it right directly over the top of it. Let it sit there for a couple seconds. Then get you a rag, as such, and just pat it. And what you're doing is you're trying to get the water out of it, and also you're trying to make it bond to the other one that I put down there. And once you've done it a few times, you get the hang of it. It's not a real serious technique or anything like that. And this is just the spur of the moment live, nothing serious. So it's no big deal if people don't show up. They can watch this stuff later. You know, I'm only going to be doing this for probably like 15, I'd say about 20, 30 minutes. Now, once you get it where you think it should be, because you done patted it down and got most of the water out, and if it's coming through the screen, that's normal too as well. Don't even worry about that. You know, then you take it and you'll start to lift it up and you'll see how it's separating. And voila, there you have it. A paper tab. And I'm gonna do that a couple more times. I got about two more sheets that I want to do. And after I finish, I'm gonna stack them up, put them on my tray over here, and put them inside the greenhouse and let them cool down. Not cool down, but let them dry out. You know, again, this is how you start off. You just shake it around in here, and this water could be reused. You don't have to throw this stuff out because if you got a lid, like I got a lid right here, it'll stay good for about 3-4 days. You know, and this paper you can use it for decorations. This is how they make hemp paper in real life. They might not use the ingredients that I use. I used uh, for the bonding. I used what is it, okra and starch, and I boiled okra in starch water for a little while, and then I pour that in here, and then all I do is agitate the water to get it good and agitate it. And then I wait till it settles a little bit, and then I bring it up. And there you have it. This right here could be a good piece of paper right here. No big deal. But I kind of like it to be a little bit more, because there's a lot of stuff that's been blended up in here, like stems and stuff like that. So I kind of want that in there. It's gonna lend to like the texture. And I like these papers to be a little bit textured, because when I get ready to make whatever I'm gonna make with them, that texture, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. And the stuff doesn't come out all crispy and like burnt leaves or some shit like that. It comes out really pliable. So once I get my mat ready, just turn it over on there. Bam. Let it sit for a couple seconds. And then it's all right. It's good to wring out your rag, because you do suck up a lot of that water. You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to get that water out of the paper on the other end of that mesh right there. They sell these things. They call them decals. They sell decals that you can make like paper for books and shit like that. But I'm using this for my own purposes. But you could buy a decal for like $3-4. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen people use the decals. It's the same process as I'm doing. You know. And shouts out to those guys that's teaching this on YouTube, because a lot of people, this is like a perishable skill. A lot of people don't know this is how paper is really made. You can make your own recycled paper, and people like that rustic look. But I use this stuff because I grow my own tobacco. I use this stuff because I smoke. And I rather smoke my own stuff than to smoke somebody else's stuff, because I don't know what everybody be putting in the ingredients that they put in their stuff. Now, sometimes it turns out kind of weird, and that's usually because the rag or the cloth that you're putting it on isn't damp. So you should damp it in first. See how that turned out? A little shallow. But once it's damp, you can go back over it again, add another layer to it, and it comes out pretty good. You know? Yeah. Hey, look, like, share, and subscribe, you guys. A lot of people come and see these videos and stuff like that, and they don't really subscribe. I'm not asking nobody for nothing. I just need somebody or the people that's coming in here to subscribe to the channel. Wind's starting to pick up out here. But yeah, that's why it's good to have a damp cloth instead of having it dry like that. So I'm just going to go in here, shake it around a little bit. And there's nothing special in here. Just starch, okra, and tobacco leaf. That's it. And anybody could do this. It's not a big deal. And where I get my tobacco from, I just grow it out here in my garden and stuff like that. If you guys haven't tuned into my channel before, let me leave that right there. I'll show you guys where I get it from. And I just pretty much just grow the tobacco, harvest it, dry it out, and cure it. This is a tobacco plant right here I was growing. And I already cannibalized most of it. These leaves down here at the bottom, they're still good. You know what I'm saying? I just been leaving them on there because I really don't, take them off. But that tobacco plant will get huge if I leave it out there, if it have enough seasoning. And then here's my baby here. She is growing damn good. So she got some nice sized leaves on her. I could just use the leaves by themselves to smoke and make my cigars and stuff like that. But I'd rather use this. Oh, okay. Pink Boberto. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. You know, I'm not trying to argue with motherfuckers over here. But I got a couple suggestions if you're looking for channels where you can go and argue and open up panels like that without dropping in the chat. Plus, look at my post on my community wall. I support all those guys. So if you want to find a channel that's gonna have some good debating and arguing and stuff, there's a few of them out there that I look at. So this is just right here. And I can use this to go down. And it's cool, man. If you guys are looking for that type of environment, that's good. But I'm not doing that over here. You know, it's not what I don't want to just. That's not what I want to be known for all the time. But I get out there and I debate with people and shit, talk shit with them. That's normal. But on the serious side, everybody should have some type of, information that they're gonna give to people, not just, word of mouth and stuff. And this is what I do, little shit like this, because believe it or not, man, the stuff that people used to do back in the day all the time that we don't do now. You know, if you want some nice craft paper, you can do this on a larger scale and get a good turnout, man. I've seen a lot of people making their own little notebooks, sketch pads and shit like this, man. You know, and I got a couple of them myself that I came across that are pretty nice, man. That I've bought because people put their own little their own little signature on it, man. You know, but I like how this stuff turns out, man. And see, when you double do it, it makes it looks a little bit better. Makes it look a lot better in my case, so I can get, and these are just old tablecloths, not tablecloths, but pillow cloth, pillowcase, and that we weren't using, and I just cut them up and made these little strips of cloth that I could put this stuff on. We should have something, other than just arguing. In my case, I think people should have something that they do on the other end besides, arguing about shit that's on the internet. You can do all kind of shit out here, man. And if the internet go down, then what? Motherfuckers gonna still be trying to get on that bitch argue? Nah, they gonna fall back on their little hobbies and stuff like that. Just like during COVID, a lot of people, they were on the internet because of circumstance. If they would have had something else to do, they would have jumped off in there and did it. You know? Yeah. But this YouTube shit is kind of iffy, man. So don't put your stock into just one thing. Don't put all your stock into it. I like to talk trash to people and have fun and socialize on the internet, but shit like this that we could do. Some people could do this shit with their kids, man. This stuff, and this will be something they can remember you by when you're older. You ain't just known for being on the internet talking shit to each other. But yeah, and these some nice little crafts, man, because the stuff that I've already made turned out pretty good, and it smokes good too as well. Because a lot of people they buy this shit by the. I mean, come on, man. They buy these cigar wraps and shit for they smoke by the hundreds, if not the thousands, man. And what if you ain't got the money to go out there and buy this shit, but you still want that flavor you get from smoking authentic, tobacco? Because there's a lot of stuff that they put into this stuff, that they put into this tobacco, preservatives that when you burn it, it ain't good for you. Like formaldehyde is one of the preservatives. It's like a salt, and they've turned it into a slurry. That's why it's good at preserving bodies, man. But that shit ain't good to smoke, So I make my own wraps, you know. I grow my own tobacco, and I don't know if YouTube is striking people for that too. See, sometimes it don't turn out right. That's why it's good to go over it twice. See, because it'll stick to it, And I'm just knocking this shit out real quick, like it's not really difficult. What up, Thunder Sound? Yeah, man. I was doing this earlier when I was over there talking to those guys, and I was just like, you know what? I need to concentrate on one thing right now. So I'm gonna be doing these little projects now that fall came and it's about to be the winter time. People are gonna be like in the house most of the day if they're not out working and shit like that. And little projects like this is cool. You know, and you ain't got to do it like I do it. Like I said, I learned this shit from somebody else, and I'm just putting my own little twist on it. I didn't order a deco. This is not a deco. This is an embroidery tool. You know what I'm saying? And so I created this little method, and a lot of people can create their own. It's not a big deal, you know. Get out here and make this shit, and who knows, man? This stuff right here could become big, man. This paper that these people are making and that we're making is similar, but minus one thing: all the preservatives and shit that they put in it. They not putting all that shit in there for your benefit. They putting that shit in there to preserve the shit so it can stay on the shelf longer, so motherfuckers can eventually see it long enough. Because technically, if it doesn't have any preservatives in it, if it's not in an airtight, container and in a cool, dry place, it's gonna decay and rot. And then also it's gonna dry out and become brittle and shit too as well. So if you're doing stuff like this, you got to get a certain type of bag to put it in. I use Grove bags, and I already got them. I usually make them since I've been doing this shit probably like 8 at a time. Sometimes 10, depending on how many I make in a row and how hot it is out here, shit like that. But yeah, if I wouldn't have did it, if I wouldn't have put this shit on camera, nobody would have known that this is what I use. You know, and then my own personal tobacco harvest that I be making and stuff like that too. I'm gonna do a whole uh couple series on growing tobacco and how easy it is. Because believe it or not, people say that they don't smoke, but they use backwoods and these wraps to put with their other smokes and shit, and then cigars too. So you don't have to grow specialized tobacco in order to make cigars or to be able to roll your own cigarettes with your own tobacco. You just got to know these little simple techniques on how to dry and cure it. And now that they didn't created grow bags, you ain't got to even worry about drying it and curing it like we used to do it, like in jars and shit, because that's what these guys were doing. They were either putting them in big ass grow bags or, putting them in jars. Or if you got a warehouse, you got somebody there that's going to rotate them every, 5 to 6 hours. Because if you don't rotate them when you got them in a large bunch, they'll ferment, and just like a compost heat up and catch fire. The same shit will happen to this. So I think this is a good this right here. I think I did this one pretty good. Yeah, it came out all right. And see what I do with these things is I don't roll with the whole thing. I don't think that's smart. So I'll cut it in half and use half at a time. So you'll get two uses out of one of these what looks like patties. So, and you don't have to just do 2 layers. You could do more than 2 layers. It depends on how thick you want your paper to be. If you want your shit to be thin like writing paper, you could do that. Or if you want it to be thick like construction paper, you could do that too. You just gotta stick to the technique. But I appreciate y'all showing up, man. Yeah. Hit the like button, man. You know, hook your boy up. Help me out, man. Because I think a lot of these guys, man, they don't have too much to offer other than just conversation, man. And we should incorporate stuff like this into the conversations. Because believe it or not, this is how, motherfuckers' ancestors made paper, papyrus, and all that shit. And it's real simple. All you need is something to break the stuff down, container to put it in, water and all that stuff. And then you just need a method on how you're gonna extract it and how you're gonna, dry it out. If you could do that, man, you don't have to go to the store and buy this shit because it don't take that long for this shit to do. You know, it takes about 6 hours for this stuff to dry out. And if you make them in bulk like this, like I'm doing them, man, you're not gonna go through all of that shit, that fast. It's gonna take you a while to get through it, because you're gonna cut them in half and use them like that. So it's a good little hobby though, man. So I'm gonna go over this one again, put some more on there, and it'll dry up as one sheet because as you're putting it on there, you're patting it down, getting it, to get to congeal together. Because like I said, I use starch, which is a natural thing, and I use okra, and the okra is like pectin. You know what I'm saying? So you're using that to create a gel, and when that gel dries, it also makes it pliable, like Jello. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't got to worry about smoking something that's going to harm your lungs because everybody eat okra. You know what I'm saying? Everybody eats starch. Starch comes from corn. So it's not something that you got to worry about. It's not like we're going out there and creating some shit in a lab that's going to be harmful to you. And plus, too, as well, you know, you're going to use these things for your own purposes. And there you have it. That's nice, man. It's gonna have a nice texture on it. You can see like the how it has the design of the bubbles in it and shit like that. So when I take this up, I know which side I'm gonna have for the outside, which is this side right here. This is gonna be my outside, because I like that texture look. I like that it looks like it's handmade, you know what I'm saying? And imagine if you made a whole box of cigars from your own wraps like this. You know what I'm saying? And you gave them as a gift to one of your friends or one of your relatives or something, man. They'll be impressed. Shit's 100%, natural. Ain't nothing up in this shit that has anything to do with petroleum or nothing. Just regular water and, a couple other things. Starch and, of course, tobacco leaves. But you can make this shit out of any leaf you want. You can do this shit with dried up banana peels. I seen a guy make some rolling papers out of banana peels. I was like, man, why don't you just make you some banana paper? Bam. And just make that shit so, it's like a wrapping paper or some shit like that. Yeah. Then there's people that have put their own prints on them. I have a print that I can put on them, and you can use the water that you get off the paper when you boil it. Salute Cajun Spice. Yeah, I'm making me some homemade rolling papers, some wraps. So I know everybody out there, especially the people that be in my chat, man, have once in their life smoked a Black and Mild, and believe it or not, that Black and Mild is made just like this. It ain't the whole leaf, you know. So this is something along those lines, but you ain't got to worry about all the other shit that they putting in it. And then I make my own filters or my own shit. How do you say them? It's like the ends where you put your mouth and shit. I make those, and you can make those out of this type of paper, or you can make them out of another form of paper. But I make it out of this type of paper too, because I don't want to be smoking anything other than what I grow. It's all right to do that, but you know, use somebody else's shit. But sometimes you want to see if you can do it yourself. Yeah. And I got some other projects I want to do too, because I'm about to, you know, it's about to be winter time, and I'm gonna have to still start, have my shit growing and stuff that's inside of my greenhouse. So I got one more rag right here, and we'll do that right there. And after I'm finished, I'm gonna stack all these on top of each other and put them in my tray. Let me get my tray. Don't forget. And then I'll put this inside the greenhouse. And by the next day, it should be ready. Matter of fact, it is ready. I'm gonna show you guys what I already made. Matter of fact, let me do that right now before my damn phone goes dead. Cause I'm at like, and this was a piss poor effort to do a stream when I didn't even know that my battery was getting ready to go dead. So let me go get that so I can show y'all what I'm talking about. Yep. Hope y'all having a good day out there on this fine Sunday. Yep. All right. So this is what I keep my wraps that I already made in these Grove bags right here. These are really good bags, man. You know, they are great for curing and storing any organic material in. So let me get one out, show you guys how it looks. So let me get two of them out. Because sometimes, you know, they don't turn out the way you want them to. But like I said, they real pliable. They really pliable. They won't break. You know, sometimes they got holes in them, but you know how motherfuckers be doing it, you know? And it smells sweet, man. It smells like like sweet tobacco or something like that. And you can utilize this. I usually cut it in half, use one side to roll with. And they're not gonna be no fat ass stogie cigars or anything like that. They're gonna be just basic cigars, you know. And if you're rolling in anything else, it's just gonna be a basic one, just like a regular cigarette, you know. But this stuff, man, it stays for a long time. And depending on how you harvest it, and here in the pack, I got it probably like about, because I did some yesterday too. And when I thought about doing this at first, showing people what I was doing, man, I had already smoked up half the shit, you know. So this is how they look when they come out. And you can flatten them out, but I don't really care. You can flatten them out and make them more so they look pleasing to the eyes. But I like the rough look, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like the leaves that people be buying. I like those. And you can make up a whole dozen of these things, man. You won't have to go and buy nothing for about a week. You know, as long as you keep them in your grow bag. The grow bags are humidity resistant. They keep the temperature and the moisture of the plant intact. And ain't nothing up in here, artificial. So it's gonna be just like a regular plant paper. But yeah, let me get that. Oh shit. But yeah, man, I just be thinking of new little ways of doing stuff because actually, I got to a point where I had a bunch of broken leaves and stuff like that from my harvest of my tobacco. And I was like, well, I don't want to get rid of it. And I just don't want to smoke regular tobacco because I could just smoke the regular tobacco myself, tell you the truth. It's not really a big deal. But I was like, when I make something with this leftover, the crumbles of the tobacco from the leaves that I use to roll my cigarettes, why not just make some out of it? And then I learned how to make paper. So once I started making paper, I use the whole plant now. I don't take out the stems. I just grind them down to a finer pulp. Just like when you buy the whole leaf, you don't have to throw out the stem. You can utilize the stem too, but a lot of people don't like to smoke the stem because it seems harsh. But if you break that shit down, boil it, and render it down, man, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's not gonna harm you. And as you can see in my stuff right here, it's starting to settle at the bottom. In this, I have stems in it. You can see some of the stems. They've been broken down though. Yeah, they've been broken down. But yeah, it's a great project, man. Don't turn your nose up at it. And ain't nothing like using something that you made yourself, that you grew and made yourself. Because at the end of the day, man, all of this shit gets made by somebody else. You know, you shouldn't be the user. You should be the provider as well sometimes of products that you use every day, just in case motherfuckers decide to pull the rug from up under you. Like if they decide to stop selling these wraps for your cigarettes and shit, you can fuck them. You can make your own shit. You don't need these people to do that stuff. You could do this stuff for yourself, man. And then it's satisfying too. When I go in there and I separate this shit and I put them in my grow bags and I store them in my in a cool dark area. Man, I go up in there and I cut my own shit up. I make my own cigarettes, man. I sit back and I enjoy the luxury of doing the shit myself. A nigga can't say that they did the shit for me. Nobody can say they did it for me. And I take pride in that. And we gotta have more people that take pride in shit these days because that's the main issue we have. Ain't nobody proud of the shit that they doing besides people that's making money off the shit that they doing. What about the little stuff? You know what I'm saying? I can give this shit away to people that smoke and show them how to use it. And man, they'll love this shit because it's fresh. The way it burns just like a regular cigar, man. That's how it burns. And it ain't take me no long. It ain't take me no long, drawn out process. I did this in like 10, 15 minutes, you know? And then it's gonna take I don't have to sit there and make sure it dries. I just put it in the greenhouse, let it sit, or you could just put it in a cabinet. Just let it sit. It ain't gonna spoil. You're not putting nothing in it that's gonna make it spoil anyway. Yeah. So also the water that comes off of this stuff is great as a pesticide for bugs and shit. This water, once I get done getting my wraps out of it, this is tobacco water, which is nicotine water. And believe it or not, nicotine is what a lot of these companies like Roundup use in they pesticide sprays. Pest prevention. They use nicotine and caffeine in high doses. This stuff has water in it, has starch in it, and has okra in it. You spread this stuff around your plants, it'll keep bugs that you don't want on there, and it won't do nothing to your plants. Yeah, it won't do nothing to your plants. Matter of fact, I just go out here and pour it on my tomatoes and over there where my tobacco plant and my peppers are. And I don't see no bugs over there on them. The ones that are on it, they're like giant, what do you call them? Moth uh, caterpillars and shit. Them motherfuckers, I don't want to scare them off because those are good for my chickens. My chickens love to eat those things. They'll eat them every day if they could. So this one right here, I started off. This is gonna be the initial one. It's not gonna be perfect, but I'm gonna put like 2 or 3 of them on top of it. But you don't want to fuck up the first layer, because you're gonna mess up the layer. Because what I didn't say is wet the cloth that you're gonna put it on before you do that. That way, it's not sticking like this and being stuck to that. Yeah, but that's it, man. I wish other people in these communities did stuff like this, man, so we could compare notes and, make shit like this and discover new ways on how to do it, brainstorming on shit like this. But it is what it is. I don't mind being the frontliner for shit like this, for these little simple crafts and how to build chicken coops and stuff like that. Because like I said, I'm gonna have to do some repairs to my chicken coops because wintertime's coming. And I'm gonna have to seal up some of them holes that they got because the wood's starting to shrink. But yeah, and look, you know what I'm gonna use for? You can do like a paper mache on the inside of your coop to like seal it up, almost like making a caulking or some shit like that. You can use pine needles I've used pine needles before to seal up cracks, but then I mix it with pine sap. Like I'll boil. Matter of fact, I got a couple branches right now I got off my pine trees that you could, and the sap will go into the water, and then you just render it down and make it thick, and then just put your pine needles in there, and then just cook it down until it becomes like a syrup and the pine needles, and then you could take some leaves from your shit that's dying, put that in there, and it'll make like a paste. You take that paste and you put it in the cracks inside of your chicken coop, and it'll seal up some of them holes so air just ain't blowing through there. Yeah, just little simple shit, man. Little primitive techniques that people used to use back in the day, because chicken coop ain't no damn house. It don't need insulation. Let's see how this turned out. Yeah, see, look, a little thicker. And now I'm gonna put another one on there because I want it to be a little even thicker than that. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming out. It's been 30 minutes, and it's starting to get dark out here. My battery's getting ready to go dead. Hey, man, y'all the real ones, man. Y'all the real ones. The 12 people that came in here didn't hit the like button, man. Come on, why y'all being like that? Ain't nothing but a button. Tap the screen or some shit, man. Hook your boy up. Let me know that if you guys want something to be done, like a certain type of these crafts and shit like that, like doing anything. You know what I'm saying? I do all kind of shit out here. Let me know, man. But at the same time, man, hit your boy up with the paycheck and hit the fucking like button. That's my paycheck, man. That's my paycheck. Hit the like button. But again, y'all have a good one, man. And salutes to the real ones. Y'all know who you is. Everybody else ain't nothing but pretenders. Later.